Welcome to the Rubecast. I got a special guest today.
Hey-o.
Josh Cinema, brother time. Watch out. We also just wanted to briefly give a shout out to our State C broadcasters overdriving their microphones. Welcome to State C boys basketball. This is Jerry Bob Douglas.
I'm Coach Bill Thompson. I'm way too old for the technology.
What happened? Where's my applesauce?
These kids, they're kids. They don't get tired.
They need more applesauce. Isaac Hookema is very tall.
Hoekema. They do them all wrong. They said Trimestra or something for like 4 days.
Trimestra. Hey, shout out to Isaac Hoekema and Christian Trimestra.
Turn.
And Rod. Good job with the gals, Rod. You know, we're just proud of the kids. I can't wait to listen back to when I just overdrove the microphone. Just
wait, who are you proud of?
Oh,
the kids.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, I'm proud of Rod, and I'm proud of Lean, the coaches,
and I'm really proud of the kids. The kids have done a really good job.
Did I tell you that that I tried some of Val's dandelion tea the other day?
Ew.
It's dandelion and coconut.
Did it taste just like dandelion?
It makes my stomach hurt just thinking about it. She got it because it's supposed to be good for your kidneys, which, okay, sure, get it. Yeah. But I'm going to turn you up. You need to be louder.
Oh, okay. Did you ever use dandelion heads when you were a kid to draw on things, and then you'd smell your fingers?
Yes, that's what it tastes
how
like.
I imagine
it tastes like that. So then I was wondering, I was writing this down because we all want to do stand-up, but we probably will not do it. I burped. Anyway, it's mic discipline, Josh. Like if you have to make a big noise, then you just go, ah! And then you go back to the mic. Yep. Good job. I'm really proud of you.
Thanks.
Hey, you should light the candle.
Okay, I will.
This is from the Lobby of Hobbies. It's called Grandpa's Chair. And no, it doesn't smell like farts and old beer.
Burn my finger.
Good. What are you doing? Light the fire in my soul. Fan the flame. Make me whole. Nice.
Lord, you know just where I am. So light the fire in my heart again.
We're just going to sing obsolete worship songs for the rest of this time.
You are my strength when I am weak. I should stop.
Treasure that I seek. Let me sing the bass part extremely loud and nasally. That's because that's life. All right. What were we going to talk about? We have this thing as brothers where we just look at each other to see, are you going to say something funny?
I've been doing it the whole time we've been down here. I will have to say, I've been listening to the Rubecast, and I was getting really excited to be on it. And I must note that I am before Jabin. You said in the Brothers Tribute that Jabin was going to be on, but here I am.
You are.
First. But the reason I was getting excited is because back in the day, Ruben had a brown, was it a Fisher Price or Play School? I think it was Fisher Price.
I think it was.
Tape recorder. And he would get blank tapes, and Ruben would make like a radio show. And when you think about it, that is podcasting before podcasting. And we would always, Caleb and I would always interrupt his recording with just loud noises.
Just say the thing you said.
We would
just say what you said. And if you're listening to this and you don't want it to get weird, you don't know us at all. Just say it.
We would always get really loud and say things we thought were bad words. So we'd go, pee crap. And then it was either Caleb or I was like, Dad has a hairy wiener. And it's just.
And then I get mad. I'm sure I would get mad.
Yep.
And I'd come at you guys probably doing the windmill punch. Because that's what they did in the cartoons.
But you can be upset about that, but that's class. If you've raised any boys, That's classic boys. The wiener talk starts really early.
Which I haven't because I don't have boys. I have one girl, and I will try to do that humor, not that specific, but I'll be like, "Oh, hey Zoe, I pooped my pants," and she'll go, "Dad, no, you didn't."
So Ruben before this was helping a friend move, and I was just hanging out with Val and Zoe, and they're watching this video. You know those videos where there's guys in the jungle and they're like building things?
Yes. Yep. I'm well aware.
I was trying to do boy humor, and it just didn't go.
What'd you
He was
say?
he was like mixing his version of concrete with his feet, and I was like, "Oh, Zoe, is he standing in oatmeal?" And she goes, "No." Or then when he was like using his concrete on the side of this dinosaur sculpture he was making, it's like, "Oh, is he rubbing it all with mashed potatoes?" And like, if it was my boys, they'd be like,
That's great.
and she just looks at me and goes, "No."
Oh, that's gonna be a gain spike. It's gonna be a gain spike there. Yeah. It's really nice to have brother on the old show. You know. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. Do you want a Diet Pop?
I'll have Fresca.
You want Fresca?
Yeah. I'll have
Okay, then
Fresca.
you're gonna have to talk while I go get it because we don't pause and we don't edit.
Okay, so can I cue up what we talked about in the car?
Yep.
So in the car, Ruben and I, because that's how you plan a podcast. You just have a quick phone call in the car after you spent the morning in Kohl's trying to find cheap sweatpants. We talked about confronting people and doing that in ways that are good and in ways that are bad, and sometimes not doing it at all. And I'll begin by sharing a confrontation story. Ruben mentioned this in a podcast many times about how terrible people drive and out-of-state folks and all kinds of things. Well, I don't even remember what shop I was at. I was kind of by where...
Aren't you in Four Corners?
Close. Do you remember where the old country lanes used to be, the bowling alley?
And I'm back.
I was there.
Okay.
And I was trying to get on to go westbound on Huffine. And so you have to cross like 4 lanes of traffic. And I thought I had plenty of room. It looked like I did. And so I pull in and I start going. And all of a sudden, some guy is immediately on my butt.
So to be clear, you're going across the 2 lanes.
And then the center passing
turning
lane.
left. And the center passing, or the turning lane, getting into the closest lane you can get into.
Yep.
And it was clear when you looked.
Yes, and it's before that light by the mattress mill. And I just love thinking about someone listening to this who has no idea where we're at. And they're like, anyways.
Well, don't move here because you'll never know.
And so, but immediately this guy's on my butt. And then, similar to your experience with the I-90 story that you told, honk, 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 honk. And instead of going around me, just decides to honk at me for a while, then flies around me on my right-hand side, so on the passenger side, and gives me the tall finger salute. And it broke something in me.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
And I was really mad. And the way that it was ordained is that I ended up directly behind him at the light on Jackrabbit and Huffine. And I had this thought of, what if I got out of my car and told him how I felt? And then I found myself doing it.
So when we all tell these stories of our, and it's cinema rage too. Everyone blames the Swedish part of our family, the Larsons, and it's there. It's totally
our dad
there.
would get mad.
But
I
it's
remember,
cinema road rage as well. Like it's not. So those of you who don't know, cinema is a Frisian name. The you can drink the pop close to the microphone. It's ASMR. But anyway, Friesland is the northernmost province of the Netherlands, I think, or somewhere close to it. And they're known as being hard-headed people.
And Vikings.
Yeah, they were pirates. Anyway, so we've got...
You're welcome to Friesland, you dirty old scallywag.
Arrgh.
I'm having some gain spike.
Yeah, if I do this, is it too loud?
Okay, it's all right. So I'm just thinking the text.
I'm just watching the little green thing.
Yeah, it should be all right. We're having too many peaks, bro.
Peak it.
It's too many peaks.
Life's short.
Peak it. Peak it. That's a new one. T-shirt done. You'll all buy it too.
It's all printed.
All six of you.
Do you remember Shirtworks?
Yep.
It's gone.
You could get like vote for Pedro style shirts at Shirtworks, and that was it.
The Bozeman I remember.
Gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It'll never come back.
My friend Chris Johnson. Hey, Chris, guitar player from Goners. Shout out to you. You're very, very attractive. Anyway, he said, people are all going on, Bozeman used to be such a nice town. And he's like, there have always been not nice people in Bozeman. And he's right.
Yeah,
It's just they're all
have
attracting to each other.
Yeah, and there's always been parts of Bozeman that have always been a dump hole. So this idea that it all of a sudden got bad, like there's parts of it that have been bad for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best sound ever. And I swear,
Coke Zero.
I swear only Coke makes that sound. Anywho, so the rage.
So you're at the stoplight.
Yep.
See, this is what we do. We do the Russian nesting doll story, the weave.
But we're pretty good at coming back to the main point.
You know, people always say like, can you tell the story? You tell the story then, whoever says that.
Well, and to reference
And they can't.
cinemas again, like it's hard to survive at a family function of ours.
It is.
I just burped. Sorry.
It's the only backfire about having pop.
A podcast burp. But
Yep.
to survive in a family like ours, you have to be a pretty good storyteller. Jabin had a girlfriend once, and her stories were so bad. She's like, one time I
went to get pizza, and there was a gopher.
And then we're all sitting
That's
looking
not
at
a
each other
story.
going,
Not the current fiance and winner, champion supreme, Emma Evenson, soon to be cinema. We love you.
Evenson, this is how bad of a brother I am. I didn't know her last name. I was asked once too, and I was like, her name's
I don't
Emma.
know.
Emma,
I had to
Emma
learn- I had
Jabin's
to-
fiance. That's her last name.
I had to learn it because I baptized her last Sunday. Yeah. And by the way, folks, I said that we weren't going to get into a bunch of theology here, and we probably won't. But if I do, then I do. I said I wasn't going to, but I might have to sometimes.
Then you can
Fly a kite.
You can.
So you're at the light.
Yep. And I see that it's out of state plates.
Illinois.
I don't remember. I think it was Minnesota.
Oh, serious?
Actually, probably not. Actually,
I thought you said it was Illinois or California.
it was a place we would have been frustrated by.
One of the multiple communist republics of our country.
Yeah, serious. So as I said, it broke his rage at me. Broke something in me.
Where was it?
I was at the light.
No, but where did the rage come from? Did it come from me?
Me.
I point to you and I say me. Okay.
And before you know it, I'm literally getting out of my vehicle. I put it in park. I got out, and he's refusing to look at me. His eyes are deadlocked forward, and I knock on his window. And I said it just like, I didn't yell. I said it just like this. I said, "Go back where you're from. We don't want you here."
Hey, man, aren't you a pastor at a church?
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Hey, man.
As we talked about.
Hey, man.
Yeah, dog.
You know what? Church pastors are supposed to be perfect all the time. Always be perfect. You can't have feelings.
I'm sorry that I failed. I should get fired.
I have sinned. What is it? Do you remember the clip of that guy in the 80s?
Like Kenneth Copeland?
No, he stepped he stepped out on his wife with his secretary. I can't remember the name of the guy. He was a big TV guy, big televangelist.
Oh, every modern megachurch pastor?
If I type in, I have sinned, but he gets up in front of his church and he's pretend crying.
Oh.
He's like, I have sinned. Anyway, so you get out and you're like, we don't want you here. Knock it off. And that's our problem is we're from Montana. And I don't think what people understand who come here is you either are nice or you're not.
Yeah.
We don't have a middle. The people who are from here that I know, unless they're extremely passive, we don't have a middle. Like, you're going to be nice or you're going to get hurt or I'm going to get hurt. And it's weird. Was it because we grew up at the end of a gravel road?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably because we grew up too close to some power lines and burned our garbage.
I eat paint chips to this day. Hey, Mom, make sure you don't poke any holes in the Lysol before you throw it in the burn garbage, the garbage to get burned.
Do you remember?
This is lighting off garbage, and you light it, and of course, we're all a bunch of pyros, so who knows how many hours we just stood, pour gas on the garbage in your old oil barrels, and then light it, and then, of course, stand within 5 feet just watching it, like...
Do you remember when they blow up really good and it'd shake the kitchen window?
So you're burning garbage as a kid, and it goes.
Oh no!
All of a sudden, you've got a piece of shrapnel in your head, like in a hot rod. That's when I forgot how to do math.
But anyways, that's when I did confrontation poorly, and it fits. If you've been listening to the Rubecast, which I highly recommend, it fits with your episode about what we can control.
Yeah.
And so I can't control that guy riding my butt, honking like a maniac, a literal crazy person, and then flipping me off. What I can control is when the rage, when it breaks inside me, to not put my car in park and knock on his window and tell him to move away.
But again, I think that folks need to understand that we're wired differently here. And so not everyone we know or whatever people are going to do that. But I felt the same temptation when that guy, he's flicking his brights on, honking his horn, and flipping me off at the same time. Is he an octopus? How did he get that done? Was his wife steering for him? And I wanted to do the same thing. I said, Val, I'm going to turn around. And she goes, no.
I wish I would have had a voice of reason in my vehicle at the time.
But once again, I've had some scrapes with people. I've had people when I'm trying to turn left onto the street where I live off of North 7th. Oh man, this Coke Zero's really getting me.
Are you gonna be?
We are sponsored. I'm gonna name it and claim it.
We're sponsored by. Well, actually, isn't Fresca bottled under the Coca-Cola name?
I don't know.
It is. The Coke.
Yes.
I just kind of had a voice crack.
I'm a man too, Dad.
Whenever it's a joke I do at youth group sometimes, and it never lands. But if I have a voice crack, I'll say, I just started puberty this morning, and no one laughs.
Ooh. It's 2025. What you actually say is, I just started puberty blockers this
But I've told, anyways, but
so what happens when we get together, there's stuff that I would normally just not say because I think that might offend somebody, but
it goes through a different filter.
Don't care. Hey, Paul Holborn, ready to go set tile again.
But do you remember? Okay, so unhealthy confrontation. I have another story if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That
I've already muted the outro because this is going to go long.
Because this is also a Bozeman experience. This confrontation I felt was a little bit more justified. So I went into Lowe's on, what is that, 19th?
Is this the...
Remember the guy?
Yes.
So I went into the Lowe's, and I'm coming out of Lowe's, and there's this old couple. And they're nice old folks.
Yep.
And they're trying to get their grandchild buckled into the car seat the right way. And they pull out of their handicap spot. Okay, they're old.
So they have a handicap tag.
Yep.
So they're in handicap parking.
Yep.
So we're handicapped, we're old, we've got our grandchild.
Yep.
Or maybe great-grandchild.
And so now they've backed out and they start going forward like they're going to leave, and then they stop. And the grandpa gets out and he's like, I don't think the car seat's right. They're just trying to keep their kids safe.
Yeah.
And now here comes big, fat head, giant sunglasses in his huge, jacked up truck. He pulls up right behind them and he starts honking at them and his window's down. He's like, get going.
So you've got your giant fat head, your buff muscles, your $80,000 sunglasses,
And your huge,
your big
giant
pickup
truck.
with probably a Monster Energy sticker in the back, and Fox Racing.
Yes, and he starts honking at them. And I was halfway to my car, and I come power walking back. And I'm like, hey, what are you? Calm down. I said, this isn't what we're about here. I said, I don't know where you moved from, but this isn't how we act.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be honking at them. They're trying to get their grandkid buckled into the car seat.
yeah.
So then he backs up and he's like, why don't you mind your own business? And I said,
Yeah, you
no,
made it my
I
business,
won't.
idiot.
And then, he backed up and drove away. But it's like, why do people have to be that way?
But you know what's interesting? He's
And
all
I bet
big
no
buff.
one's confronted him before.
Giant skull, big buff guy. All of a sudden, when he gets, he probably had one of those polo shirts that are made out of gym shorts material.
Yeah.
Like how years ago, all the coaches started wearing those, and somehow that's acceptable dress attire now.
But
I got my
he-
Under Armour shirt.
He reminded me, and you'll get this reference.
He probably just had like 4 testosterone shots.
I got low T.
No, I have high T, and I'm extremely angry. Monster truck.
Sunday. Monster trucks.
You grandparents think you're gonna get your kid out in my way? Oh, no, you're not. Because I'm the macho man. Yeah. And I'm the Intercontinental Champion of the WWF.
And it's WWF, not WWE.
Well, WWE's now, but it's a different era.
It's a better era.
Back
Not just a
then.
bunch of guys slapping around, combing their hair.
Yeah.
They're
And they don't have cool names anymore.
no, like
Roman Reigns.
what even is that?
What happened to
Are
Jake
you a
the Snake?
Yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Macho Man Randy Savage, Junkyard Dog,
Andre
Hulk,
the Giant.
Hogan. Yeah, Andre the Giant. I mean, he's big. He's a literal giant.
His name is Andre.
So we call him Andre the Giant. But that's a real ravishing Rick Rude, Greg the Hitman. No. Brett the Hitman Hart, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Those also, side note, were the best toys you owned.
Yeah. And
Ruben
you could throw
owned
him
a s-
20 feet in the air. Nothing would happen to him.
Ruben
They're made
owned a
of rubber.
set of wrestlers
I still have them.
that they were a little bit smaller than a G.I. Joe, but they were solid. You could break a window with them.
Yeah.
And they
Or
were
a person.
awesome.
Or a person.
But this guy at Lowe's, the
Yep,
Lowe's guy,
Yep.
you'll appreciate this. He reminded me of the Chi-Town guy. Remember that story? Chi-Town?
Yeah, you need to tell that one, and then I'm going to tell the one that Dad had when he came to visit you. Which we should
About
have.
the stoplight?
Yeah, we should have him tell it. We should have him on.
So basically, we're telling you all the ways to not confront
Yeah,
people.
don't be like us.
But there was a guy, when I was living in Chicago, I was new there. I think it was my freshman or sophomore year at Trinity, and I was driving to Lacey's house. And I don't remember exactly how it happened. If he cut me off or I pulled in front of him or no, I was going 5 over the speed limit. That's what it was. And he was right on my butt the entire time, all the way to the stoplight on my butt.
Good. That'll
And
overdrive it.
As we came up to the light, he was going to turn left. So he's pulling in the left lane. And again, something broke inside me. And so I gave him the death glare. And I happened to have my window open and he had his window open. So I said out loud to him, it's like, what is your problem? I said, I was going 5 over. Why are you riding my butt? And he goes, this is Chi-Town. This is Chi-Town.
So
That was his response.
your reason for why you're tailgating me is because this is a place.
So
This is a place, so that's why I'm doing this.
well, and obviously I had Montana plates on my car.
Yeah. Oh. So here's what's funny.
But that's your. Can
You
you
wanna know
imagine
the
telling the
difference?
police you just
Yeah.
murdered someone and they're like, "Why'd you do it, sir?" This Chi-Town.
yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Let's extrapolate that logic. I mean, that makes no sense. Like if people are visiting Bannock and I just tackle them and grab the dad and hang him from the gallows, and they're like, "Sir, why did you hang that man? It's Bannock. That's what they do here."
Don't you read the history books? They hung people all the time.
I wanted his family to have an authentic experience.
and now he's dead.
So it's just funny. That rationale is just so crazy to me. And I guess we need to be not like that. But so there's that quote. I can't remember where it's from. Maybe you can look it up. But all that it takes for evil to prosper is for good men to stand by and do nothing. So there's an element of that. You can look it up. But there's an element of that where if we all just keep not saying stuff, people are just going to continue this behavior. And then what happens?
True.
So I do think that there is a precedent for things to be confronted.
I
But
could
you also-
probably have done it in a different way, but I would agree is there are folks that think they can do certain things and treat people a certain way, and a lot of it's ego and their own selfishness, and they never consider the other person, and no one has ever said something.
I think I found it. Did you find it?
I think so. The only thing necessary, right?
Yep. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. This is a quote falsely attributed to Edmund Burke. So who's it attributed to, internet?
Who's Edmund Burke?
I don't know, some guy.
That's why I got a 22.
I think he was in Harry Potter or something.
That's why I only got a 22 on my ACT.
Let's see. Well, we can look up Edmund Burke later, but at best, the essence of the quote can be traced back to the utilitarian philosopher John Stuart Mill, who delivered an 18. Thank you for stomping on the floor, Zoe. They always wait for a podcast to be going. Stomp around, dogs start barking, crunching on stuff. It's fine, though. We love it. So whatever, John Stuart Mill, but it's a good quote. Basically, the point is evil wins if good people stand by and do nothing. Now, we're not good people, but for those of you who are, get out there and do stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Dad once had this. Should I just wait for him to tell it?
Do you think he'll ever do it?
Do you think he'll ever come on the show?
I don't know. I think in his older age, he's a little more willing to try new things.
He wants to do comedy.
Really?
Yeah. He wants to do the open mic at Last Best Comedy.
That's so funny.
We'll offend everybody and get banished from the town.
I'm trying to be witty. I'm trying to think of a name that he could call himself that has to do with the length of his legs.
Old Skibo. That's what you call him.
I do call him Brent Ski. I imagine that if Dad was Russian, his name would have been Brent Skibo, old Skibo.
Hold on. Zoe, stop! She's doing that on purpose. She knows we're recording something.
Pay attention
And
to me, Dad.
And I love her very much. It's like, come on. Anyway, I think that's good. I think we got some good stories. There doesn't have to be a moral to the story, but it's just interesting. Culture clash, the whole deal.
I think the moral of the stories is that some confrontation is actually good because
Yeah.
there are people out there that need it.
Yep.
And maybe, hopefully, it gives them the opportunity to sit in their whatever and think about it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you one. I'll conclude on this one. I've told you this story before. We were, and I don't want my daughter to be a little Pharisee, but this was really cute. We were at the Burger King play area, and there's these kids just going nuts. I mean, I don't understand. They all get together and they scream like, let's have a
tribal.
screaming contest.
It's tribal.
These kids are playing and there's an older girl playing in the play area with Zoe, and she just yells out, OMG. And Zoe looks at her and she goes, we don't say that. I'm a Christian. And she wasn't being mean or anything like that. I was super proud of her. Not that we should go tell people what to say or not, but I just think that, at least in the way we grew up in our culture, confronting people was very taboo. It still is. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people need to be confronted. And I think we're so afraid to confront people that we're going to say or do the wrong thing that we just don't do it. And not confronting is just as sinful as over confronting.
Yeah.
That's what I think. So, should you get out of your vehicle and knock on someone's window like I've wanted to do? Or I've been the one who's given some gestures myself? Probably not. But I don't know. I think maybe confronting is not always bad. My Green Beret friend would agree with me, by the way.
Especially if it's a jerk in the Lowe's parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, that is a story, Josh.
I should have been like, hey, hold on. Go back inside. Referencing a previous podcast. So if you haven't listened to the Rubecast, you should listen to the Rubecast. But like you had said, Lord, sometimes I pray, Lord, give that guy a 2x4. I should have went back into Lowe's and bopped that guy on the head.
But he'll get his, and for us, we've got to moderate the way we confront because we could easily get clapped.
Yep. Yeah.
I wanted to confront a guy in the Hobby Lobby parking lot. He was with a bunch of other guys, and they were listening to super loud music, and they're just yelling and stuff. What is this?
I don't get that.
Nobody wants to hear you.
No.
You're not a performer. No one wants to hear you. Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, look at this.
I love how you very often default to Jerry.
We do default. And I'm sorry, Jerry Wagner. I love you a lot. It's not you. It's me.
I'm sorry to all the Jerrys out there.
All right. I think that's it. Hey, thanks for listening to us. Josh, thanks for being on. It's really fun.
Really happy to be here.
We'll do more. We've gone all the way over 30 minutes, so it's good. No, it's good. I was wondering, are we going to go for an hour? But it seemed like, okay, I think we've got our stories out of our system.
At least
we'll
we're
figure
not
something
Joe
else.
Rogan. We're not going to go for 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm not all buff, and I don't know jujitsu, and I don't have any money.
I know a little bit of jujitsu.
You do.
But then I quit.
You know enough maybe to... if you happen to knock on some guy's window again. And
if he doesn't shoot me in the head first.
Well, yeah. Break the wrist, walk away. Break the wrist, walk away.
All right, it's been the Rubecast. Thanks for everyone, for you. I don't edit. It's been the Rubecast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. We've been having a lot of fun. I want to say, hey, thank you to Tammy Cinema for the wonderful and kind comment, and also to our cousin Kaylee. She commented. And yeah, for those of you who have listened, it's awesome. We're hoping to keep doing more. I might have Jacob Roundtree come on the podcast at some point. He's a local singer-songwriter. Young Jabin will be on next week. I know Josh will be on again because it's just natural.
You know, you guys are getting in on the ground floor of one of the hottest things on Spotify. So, you can say you were the early adopters.
It's about as hot as cold chocolate.
All right. See you later.